Hello friends! Welcome back to another episode of r/IDOWorkHereLady, where employees often get mistaken as regular Joe Schmoes. I won't make this intro too long. I hope you stay for all the stories today, and subscribe for future videos. This story's titled, Whose Autograph? Back in my late teens, my small town was famous for its annual early music festival. I fell in love with the music, and after one concert, I approached an organizer and said that I'd like to be involved, and were there any jobs that needed doing. I had in mind something like stuffing envelopes for mailings. Their reply took me aback and said, "You're a bright young lad, would you like to be the treasurer?" I was too young and innocent to know the right answer to this, so I instead said, "Yeah, okay." This horrible job did have one light moment that I've treasured. Part of my job was to write checks for the agreed fees and hunt down the musicians backstage to pay them after they'd given their performances. Most of the musicians I met this way were lovely people, gentle, modest, and pleased to see me. Only one performer wound me up. She was an organist who believed that she was God's gift to music and strutted around with an air of arrogance. After her concert, I had trouble finding her and eventually caught sight of her in a corridor and ran after her, waving a pen and pad. She saw me, stopped, and beamed and said, "Hello, young man. Would you like my autograph?" I replied, "Not really. I rather thought you'd like mine." And I flipped open my pad, which was actually a checkbook, and signed her check and handed it to her. I've never seen someone look so crestfallen when getting paid. This one's titled, I Work Here, Just Not For You. I'm a white-collar office minion, a researcher. I work in an office behind a desk. Now, big company occupies most of the floor space, but I work for little company next door, and we have a couple of other neighbors. It's pretty late in the day, close to 7 in the evening. I've left for the day, but forgot something at my desk, so I double back. The place is mostly deserted. There's only one other person on the elevator, an older guy in proper office attire, lanyard, button shirt, tie. He gets off at the same floor and walks in front of me. When he reaches the locked security door, he twists around to stare at me. I look back. He looks at me. I assume he's some kind of senior manager at big company. Maybe he's forgotten his door code. No big deal, it happens. So I stand there, waiting patiently. Dude doesn't say anything though. He just stares at me. Stares. After a while, I awkwardly say, are you opening the door or can I? He holds a pass up, punches a code in, the door beeps. He holds the door open, but still standing in my way, and looking very belligerent about it. At this point, I realize what's going on. Okay, fair enough. He's being security conscious. I'm just some random person with messy hair, a polo shirt, and jeans. It's Friday, mind you. Both big company and my own employer have casual Friday, so he's the odd one out, not me. I say, I work here. The guy glares at me and says, "I don't recognize you." I replied, "Okay, but I do work here. I mean, I don't recognize him either, but there's dozens of people on this floor, split across big company and the rest of us smaller outfits." He insists that he doesn't recognize me like it's some great sin. I hold up my own security pass and point in the direction of the doors for little company, not big company, and said, my office is over there." The man huffs and says, "Well, how am I supposed to know that?" I give up and squeeze past him. Well, he could have asked. Or he could have considered the fact that there's more than one organization on this floor. This story's titled, Girls Can't Read Comics. This is a short one, but kinda funny. Just the absurdity of it. It's been a few years, but I still remember quite well as it was unforgettable for me. I recently posted a rather nasty story that happened to me, and it felt good to rant about it. This is the only other time in my life that I met a really nasty person. The guy wasn't entitled, so to speak, just really dense and sexist. It was my very first job. I was 15, and I worked a bookstore that specialized in sci-fi, fantasy, manga, and comics. This guy walks in and goes to the comics section. I let him browse for a few minutes, and then asked him if he needed any help. I said, "Can I help you, sir?" The customer says, "I'm looking for..." And he gives me the title and number issue of a Captain America comic from the 1940s or 1950s, I don't remember. I started trying to help him, but as soon as I said a few words, he interrupted and said, "Could you get the comics pro?" Which was the male employee who is there most of the time. Let's call him Mike. I said, "Pardon?" "I think his name's Mike." I said, "He's not here today, but I'd be happy to help you." The customer then goes and says, "I don't think you'd know what I was looking for. No offense, but you're a girl. Girls can't read comics. It's not meant for them. A lot of girls don't even know the difference between Marvel and DC, or even what either of those are. They tend to read a lot of Twilight crap, so can you get someone who knows comics?" I replied, "Sorry being a Marvel fangirl is so offending to you, but I'm the only one here. I'll go get that comic, which is, by the way, issue number X, not Y." I stormed off, went to get the comic in the back of the store, and walked back front and handed it to him. Customer said, "Don't get so angry over it." "I'll get angry if I feel like it. We're not all emotional and serve to cook and clean." He replied, "That's not what I said." "Well, you had to stop for 5 seconds, thinking about what would come out of your mouth. Give me one good logical reason why a girl can't read or like comics." He stood there baffled, and I said, "That's what I thought. Have a nice day." The guy did come back, and he never made a sexist comment again, but he pulled the same shit on another female employee and got told off by her. I know my reaction was too intense, but I've gotten better over time and don't get so angry anymore. But the whole "there are things that girls can do or should do" still pisses me off to no end. This story is titled, "The Double I Do Work Here." So I go to university and work as a game master in an escape room as a side gig. The best fucking job I've ever had, though it can be stressing if we're fully booked. We're usually working alone, as we only have 2 rooms and one game master can do 2 rooms at once. A week before the incident happened, I bought something to replace a part that was destroyed by one of our groups, and I paid with my own money for it. A few days later, I wasn't scheduled, but I was nearby and decided to go into the office to take my money out of the cash register and also bring the replacement part that I bought. Now here comes the part that you're here for. We are 8 people in the team. I've met 6 of them, and I'm the 7th. Usually we see each other when one shift ends and the other one begins his one. Also, we all see each other once a month for a team meeting where we discuss important things. However, I still haven't seen one of my 7 coworkers, and he hasn't seen me too. Let's call him D. So I'm just walking into the office, no one's there. I guess the game master was just busy cleaning up one of the rooms. I sit down, open the cash register, and begin taking the money out. That's the moment where D stepped into the office, and we both looked at each other, extremely confused, since we had no idea who the other one was, and why the other one was in the office. We both could have been random dudes in the office, but I was in a much worse position, as I was an unknown person, taking money out of the cash register. D says, "Who are you, and what are you doing?" I responded, "Who are you? I'm the game master. My name isn't relevant to you." I said, "Yes it is. I'm the game master too." 10-second silence. Imagine the Spider-Man meme with 2 Spider-Men looking at each other. That was us. I replied, "I'm OP." D said, "I don't know who that is." And then I finally responded, "I think we're coworkers. I bought this particular replacement part for one of the rooms and came by to get my money back." When he realized that I knew what I was talking about, he also realized that I wasn't a robber, and he calmed down. He let me take my money, and I drove off. A couple of weeks later, we met again at one of the team meetings and had a great laugh about it. However, this situation was very irritating for both of us. This story's titled, "Hey bro." Guess again, not your bro. A bit about me at first. I'm the type of guy who likes to let people make their mistakes and bask in their embarrassment when they realize their mistakes. I'm also a chronic malicious complier, but that's irrelevant for the story. So I currently work in school as a French teacher. Recently, I was on my way back into the school after retrieving my lunch from my car when I saw a student of mine walk down the road with a pair of his friends. The friends aren't my students and don't know me. The student sees me and waves to me. I wave back, and to my great amusement, his friend sees him waving at me and raises his hand and shouts, "Hey bro!" It was hella funny watching my student stumble over himself, trying to get the guy to lower his hands and explain that I'm a teacher and not one of his friends. So there you go. Not a very exciting story, but it was funny to me. Hey friends, I hope you enjoyed this episode of r/IDOWorkHereLady. If you enjoyed this episode and the stories, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss future stories. See you in the next one.